Hey everyone, and welcome back to Swift Guitar Lessons. Today I was working on some new lesson plans on my Gibson Les Paul, and I popped a string. So I thought, well, this is a great opportunity for me to show all the Gibson players out there how to change their strings on their electric guitars. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'll show you how to change all the strings on the guitar, but also how to clean up the guitar, and in the process, I'll introduce you to a couple of cool products. Let's get started. Okay, so close look at my headstock. We're getting started changing the strings on this Gibson Les Paul Studio. And the first step is going to be to unravel the old strings. So to do that, we're going to be using a Roadie Tuner, which has a function here, using the app. Just kind of speeds up the process for me. And it'll slowly unravel the string. Once it gets loose enough, I can just peel it over the top. And voila, I have the string off. And we got to do that for each of the 6 strings, so. Okay, now that you have all the strings detached from the headstock, we're just going to remove them from the tailpiece. So, this right here is our bridge, this is our tailpiece. Now the thing about Gibsons is once the tension of the strings has been removed, the tailpiece becomes free. So all the strings are connected to that. Then you're just going to pull them out the back side. One at a time. Alright, and I'm just going to make a stack here on the floor, but I want to make sure that I don't leave them on the carpet because these will really wreck your vacuum cleaner. Alright, just pulling them out the back. Okay, so now we can put the tailpiece back in, but you might notice, wow, there's a lot of dust here, especially on this black guitar, it really shows. So I'm going to take this as an opportunity to clean down the guitar. Okay, with the strings completely removed from the tailpiece, now I'm going to be using this Ernie Ball guitar polish and whatever cloth you have available that doesn't leave fibers on your guitar, okay? So a cheesecloth, even a pair of boxer shorts works really well for this, this purpose. So once again, taking the tailpiece out and putting it here on my lap for safekeeping. Gonna spray down the guitar. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll just put it right here on the cloth. Alright, because I don't really like spraying down my pickups. Now here's the thing. Without the tension of the strings as well, the bridge can come off here. Okay, and I'm so dusty, so this is really good. The only thing I need to be careful of is I don't want to change the height of these screws that we have here. Okay, because that's going to affect the action. So I'm going to clean around in here. Make the rag real small and just kind of clean through. And I might even hold on to this screw so that way I don't change the height as I clean around it. So I'm holding on to it, making sure that I don't change the level. That works really well. Alright, I'm going to do that on this side as well. Alright, so that's the one thing that's a little bit complicated about cleaning down your guitar, at least cleaning down a Les Paul. Okay, now that the guitar is all cleaned up, I'm going to put the tailpiece back in. I'm going to put my bridge back on, but I'm going to make sure that I have the correct side here. If you look at the notches that the strings have left behind on your bridge saddles, you'll be able to tell which belongs to the low E string and which belongs to the high E string because they'll be wider. So it's going to go like this. All right, perfect. And now it's time to put on the new strings. Okay, so because I like to have a nice warm tone, I'm going to be using these Ernie Ball M steel strings. These are fantastic. They sound great, so we're going to start off by opening those up. Okay, so as you can see, each of the strings has individual packaging. So I'm going to begin by lacing each of them through the tailpiece. Then I'm going to attach the low E string, this 46 gauge, to my headstock, which will give me some tension to keep the tailpiece and the bridge in place. Right now, there's nothing keeping them on, so I don't want to jostle the guitar around too much. Okay, starting with the low E string. Going to lace that through. Okay, so now each of the strings is laced through the tailpiece. Okay, so we're almost ready to attach the strings back onto the tuners, but you might notice that your neck is very dirty as well. Maybe some grime and gook has been building up underneath of your frets. So to fix that problem, you might want to use this product that's called Lizard Spit. Really great stuff. You'll put that on that same rag that you were using to wipe down the body, and just put a couple dabs on this rag, put it over your fingertip, and then wipe through each of the frets to get all that gook and grime out. Okay, so with the fretboard polished, it's time to reattach the strings to the headstock. So starting with my low E string, I'm going to lace this through the tuner. And I'm going to give it about maybe 4 or 5 inches from the 12th fret, so that way I have enough slack to get a couple of rotations around the tuner. Okay, so now it's time to reattach the strings to the tuners. I'll begin by notching the string. That's when we bend it around the tuners, that way it stays snug. Then at this point, I can choose to use a traditional winder, or I could use my Roadie tuner to tighten up the strings. And it actually has a button right here on the side. Let's see if you can take a look at that. That I can press. Oh, first I gotta turn it on. And it'll wind it up for me. Now the only thing is I want to make sure that the excess string here on the top goes over the top of the guitar string, so that way all the winds are going underneath. And I'm also making sure that I'm winding from the inside out. Okay, so before I move on to the A string, I'm going to cut off the excess here. And to do that, I can use a pair of pliers, or I can use a traditional string winder, okay, which I could have used to tighten up the string as well. Okay, and it's actually very fast. If you're not into, you know, funky gadgets, definitely have this old school thing in your gig bag. This is an essential thing for every guitar player to have. So most of them have something to cut the string with there on the top, and voila, we're ready to move on to the A string. Okay, moving on to the A string. I'm gonna go old school here. Wrap it over the top. Notice how I'm pulling on the string here. Okay, I'm keeping it taut. Okay, now that you have all the strings reattached to your tuners, it's time to stretch out the strings. This is one thing that a lot of guitar players forget. So we're gonna be stretching out the strings, pulling over here on the pick inside, pressing over here on the fret inside. Okay, I might press behind the saddle, I might press behind the nut. Okay, just squeeze it up a little bit, and that's gonna help you, or rather help your strings set. I'll do that for each of my 6 strings. Okay, final step of the process before you can start playing, we gotta tune the guitar up. So to do this, I recommend using an Ubertuner. This is my favorite clip-on tuner. It's on Amazon, I think it's about 20 bucks, but I'll put the link in the description for you. So first, I'm gonna try to tune my guitar up by ear, usually by bumming my E string off of one of my other guitars, and then I'll tune it up using the technique that I taught in my tuning by ear video, which I'll put right here on the screen for you to click through to. Once I've tested my ear, I'll go to the tuner and see how close I was. And the coolest thing about the Ubertuner is it's really nice, bright display, as you can see right there. Okay, so we'll tune up the guitar and get playing. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Alright everyone, thanks so much for checking out this lesson on how to change your strings on a Gibson Les Paul. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much to my supporters at patreon.com for making these lessons possible. I got many more coming up, so keep checking back. Please subscribe, please share. This is Rob at Swift Guitar Lessons in Philadelphia saying, happy picking.